Welcome everyone, join us today as we delve into the life and legacy of Graeme Shirley Strachan, the Australian icon and flamboyant frontman of Skyhooks, who helped redefine Aussie rock in the 1970s and beyond. So let's dive in. Shirley Strachan, born Graeme Ronald Strachan on the 2nd of January 1952, in Malvern, Victoria, in Australia. He was zodiac sign Capricorn. Born in East Malvern and raised in the Melbourne suburb of Mount Waverley, Shirley was the eldest and only son of Joyce and Ronald Strachan. Growing up in a lively household with three sisters, he always had a mischievous streak. By grade 2 he had a steady girlfriend, and was once dismissed from Mount Waverley High School's first aid room after being caught giving mouth-to-mouth resuscitation to a fully conscious girl. After World War II, his dad became a carpenter, and Shirley, who proudly admitted to excelling in woodwork at school, eagerly followed in his footsteps. In his first year at trade school, he finished as runner-up to the Ducks of his class, and by the second year, he was at the top of a building technician's course. Surfing was his first passion, but music quickly became just as irresistible: the excitement, the travel, and the unique rhythm of life it offered. While at trade school, he met some friends who raved about a talented drummer named Freddie Strachan. They took him to see an unnamed band at the village green, featuring Strachan on drums and Greg McCanch on bass. Shirley and Strachan became fast friends, harmonizing in cars on the way to parties and gigs. The following year, he was invited to join a band with Strachan and McCanch called Claptrap, later renamed Frame, alongside guitarists Pat O'Brien and Singio Ooms. Their first performance was on April 19, 1971, at Montsalvat in Eltham, where Shirl, too shy to face the audience, sang with his back turned to the crowd. He stayed with the band for a year and a half, all while completing his carpentry apprenticeship. Eventually, he packed up the combi van that once hauled Frame's gear and set off for Phillip Island, where he could focus on surfing and carpentry. Graeme earned the nickname Shirley within the surf community, where nicknames were almost a requirement. It was a nod to both his high tenor voice and his Shirley Temple-like curls. His days revolved around the rhythm of the waves, starting with an early check of the surf at Woolamai. If conditions were right, he'd spend hours in the water before breaking for lunch. Work would sometimes fit into the schedule, but the ocean always called him back when the tide was high. While Shirley was still living on Phillip Island, balancing his time between surfing and stints on crayfishing and shark boats, Greg McCanch and Freddie Strachan had formed a new band, Skyhooks, in March 1973. The original lineup included Steve Hill on vocals, Peter Inglis on guitar, and Peter Starkey on guitar and vocals. At a gig, Ross Wilson, formerly a Daddy Cool and then with Mighty Kong, had Skyhooks as a support act and was so impressed by the band, he signed McCanch to a publishing deal. Meanwhile, Shirley's girlfriend, Sandy, who would later become his first wife, was heading to Perth, prompting him to return to Melbourne. The day he arrived, fate took a turn. Shirley stepped in as Skyhooks' new lead singer after Steve Hill departed following a badly received performance at the January 1974 Sunbury Pop Festival, where the band was booed off stage. Shirley now joined McCanch, Strachan, and the revamped lineup featuring Bob Bongo Starkey and Red Simons on guitars. Shirley was a natural frontman, charismatic, quick-witted, and with strikingly androgynous good looks. Though initially shy, he soon commanded the stage with fearless energy. Skyhooks, named after a fictional company in Earth vs. the Flying Saucers in the 1956 sci-fi film, broke from the denim-clad blues scene with their glam rock flair and bold Aussie storytelling. By late 1973, Ross Wilson convinced Michael Gudinski to sign them to Mushroom Records, paving the way for their rise. Skyhooks pushed boundaries, shocking conservative Australia with their flamboyant style, onstage antics, and bold lyrics. Adelaide police even confiscated their 1.2-metre mushroom-shaped prop after a show. Their debut album, Living in the 70s, had 6 of its 10 tracks banned for tackling topics like drugs, sex, the gay scene, and heartbreak, while name-dropping local places. Despite the controversy, their music resonated, and their success skyrocketed after performing Horror Movie on the very first episode of ABC's Countdown, instantly captivating audiences. As frontman, and sometimes tour manager, Shirley was at the center of the chaos. Skyhooks mania peaked on Anzac Day in 1975, and the pressure became overwhelming. He took a 2-week holiday in Bali, then married first wife Sandra in England. That December, the band launched the biggest tour ever by an Australian group, followed by a US run with Uriah Heep. Rumours of his departure swirled, but he returned stronger than ever, and second album Ego Is Not a Dirty Word took the band to new heights. Shirley launched his solo career while still with Skyhooks, releasing a cover of Brenda Holloway's Every Little Bit Hurts in October 1976, which peaked at number 3 on the Kent Music Report. His follow-up, Tracks of My Tears, reached number 18 in July 1977. As the Skyhooks' success waned, US producer Eddie Leonetti was brought in for their 1978 album, Guilty Until Proven Insane. Shirley clashed with Leonetti and, restless as ever, decided he wasn't interested in endlessly pursuing greater musical fame. He left Skyhooks in July 1978, though it wasn't publicly announced until January. Tony Williams replaced him, while Shirley released his third solo single, Mr. Summer, which failed to chart. Post-Skyhooks, he transitioned into radio and television, becoming a beloved children's TV host on Shirl's Neighborhood from 1979 to 1983. His debut solo album, It's All Rock and Roll to Me, arrived in 1980, and Shirl's Neighborhood won Best Children's TV Series at the 1983 Logie Awards. He also spearheaded multiple Skyhooks reunions throughout the 80s and 90s, this time, determined to make the money they missed out on the first time around. In March 1993, Skyhooks were inducted into the ARIA Hall of Fame at the ARIA Music Awards. That same year, Shirley moved to Queensland and became a regular presenter on the home makeover TV show, Our House, using skills from his pre-Skyhooks carpentry days. He also hosted a breakfast radio show on Triple M Brisbane with Gary Belcher and Dean Miller but left in 1997 after a pay dispute. In 2012, a biography of Shirley, Shirl the Life of legendary larrikin Graeme Shirley Strachan, written by Jeff Apter, was published. Personally, Shirley was married twice during his lifetime. His first marriage was to Sandra Davis in 1975, which took place at a registry office in London. They had been dating since 1972, when he was surfing and working on Phillip Island. However, by October 1977, they separated, in part due to Shirley not ready to start a family. His second marriage, until his passing, was to Sue Scott, a model and presenter, whom he met while appearing as a guest on the TV game show Catch Us If You Can. Tragically, on August 29, 2001, at the age of 49, Shirley lost his life in a helicopter crash. A skilled fixed-wing pilot for many years, he was in the process of obtaining his helicopter pilot's license, with plans to buy one for surfing safaris with loved ones. While flying solo near Mount Archer, Queensland, in clear weather and deviating from his planned route, Shirley encountered unexpected mountain turbulence. This caused the rotor of his Bell 47G to detach, resulting in a crash on the north-northeastern slope of Mount Archer. In early September 2001, his family and friends, including Skyhooks guitarist Red Simons and radio colleagues Gary Belcher and Dean Miller, gathered for a beachside funeral. Shirley's ashes were later scattered at sea by his wife Sue, from a helicopter. And there you have it. Though Shirley's life was tragically cut short, his impact on Australian music and culture remains unforgettable. His voice, humour, and larger-than-life presence will always continue to inspire fans and musicians alike. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more videos on your favorite artists just like this. Take care and bye for now.